Hey guys, Raya here. We were invited to a wedding out in DC this summer, and since flights to that area are really expensive, we decided to make a vacation out of it. Watch as we give DC a try. We flew into the Reagan Airport. It took forever to get our rental car and actually get out into the area. Luckily, the drive around DC isn't too bad since there are lots of monuments and sightseeing spots all around. We stayed at the Hyatt Place National Mall. Since we were working during this trip, we grabbed a suite to have space for both our remote work setups. The hotel itself was good quality and had a nice but super busy breakfast buffet. But the parking around DC and this hotel in particular was awful. The parking is valet only for $50 a night, which is definitely excessive in my opinion, but for some reason all of DC is super expensive. We went to the Washington Monument and got tickets ahead of time to be able to go up inside. It was really cool to see DC from above like this. There was a small museum inside that described the history of the monument. We went to the other major monuments at night to avoid the heat and crowds. First stop was the Lincoln Memorial. It was really cool at night and awesome to see such a famous building. The reflecting pond view of the Washington Monument was also really pretty. The Jefferson Memorial was pretty cool, but it was randomly really busy with tour buses still stopping there even late at night. There were also a ton of bugs because of the water. The most valuable part of our trip was visiting the Holocaust Memorial. It provided the opportunity to travel through the exhibit as an actual person who was a victim of the Holocaust. This horrific part of world history is something that should always be remembered, and I definitely recommend that anyone who can visit do so, to help keep bringing awareness to this atrocity, especially amid the terrible social and political climate of today. Visiting the National Archives was a very solemn experience. Photos aren't allowed inside since the flash can destroy the documents over time, but it was still really cool to see the founding documents of our country, some even with notes in the margins from editing at the time of their creation. We were able to get tickets to tour the White House, which was unnecessarily complicated, but once we were actually on the tour, it was very cool. There were quite a few security checkpoints to get inside and tons of Secret Service agents stationed all around. It was interesting to see all the historical artifacts and elaborate decorations inside. It was also a really pretty day outside, and the building was really picturesque. The U.S. Capitol building was our next stop. We had tickets for a private tour, but the entrance process was a bit confusing, so we ended up in a public tour, which was still great. This point is the exact center of Washington, D.C., and there's an unused crypt for Washington's casket directly underneath it. The old Supreme Court room was really cool to see. And then the rotunda was beautiful. The old room for the Senate was so small, it was crazy. The old room for the House of Representatives was very ornate. There were so many statues all around sent from all the US states, as well as markers for representatives that also served as US president. Our tour guide was great and really informative. The Natural History Museum was so crazy. All the fossil casts were amazing to see. It was mind-boggling to see the evolution of sea creatures and human life. There were a ton of other areas as well, including mammals and gemstones. I've always loved rocks, so I really enjoyed this area. The Egyptian mummy area was also super cool. We ate at their food court, and it was pretty good. One day we went to the zoo, which was super fun but really hot and had a lot of hills. There was an overhead playground for the orangutans, but they were all inside. The gorilla area was really nice. They were all roaming around. There was even a new baby that all the gorillas were caring for and protecting from dangers like squirrels. The elephants were hanging around during snack time. One was moving around a lot, and the other was waiting by the doors of the inside enclosure. The pandas were my favorite, and the reason the zoo was a must-do on this trip. One of them was begging to be let inside, and by the time we walked around the enclosure, it had been let in and given a snack ball. but it clearly ate all the snacks or was not happy with the ball because it went over to its bed to eat some bamboo. The other panda was already inside and eating bamboo, happy as could be. This panda cam area was cool to see. It was right in the enclosed viewing area for anyone to watch. The tiger was laying around both times we saw it, which is pretty standard for a big cat. And then we only saw the female lions, but it was fun to get this shot that reminded me a lot of the scene in The Lion King. We stopped by the Air and Space Museum one day, which was really cool. The Wright Brothers section was really interesting. It had a lot of aviation history and had the actual Wright Brothers plane inside. It was awesome to learn about the science of flight, even at that rudimentary time. There were so many different planes inside as well, it was wild to see the sizes of things compared to the human body. The upstairs is where I spent most of my time, since I love space. It was kind of funny to see the replicas they had of fictional spaceships as well. There was a section for just the moon and space stations. Then there was another section for the history of astronaut space travel, with the rovers and other machinery. The rockets were huge. The displays for the planets and solar system were very cool too. We didn't go anywhere too fancy to eat on this trip, but the food we did get was tasty, even if it was way too expensive. Overall, this trip was really fun and informative. It was cool to see all the historical monuments and to appreciate human history over time. If you can make it out there, I recommend giving DC a try. Thanks for watching!